What's up guys, FC3 here bringing you my latest behind the beat tutorial. Today we're going to do things a little bit differently, being that Logic's latest new album dropped. I wanted to create a beat as if I was in the studio with him, or if we were in the studio together, this would be the beat that I would be showing him, hopefully. So without wasting too much time, let's get into it.
That's what she said.
So the first thing I did was load up this sample, and I used my go-to high-pass filter. I use this high-pass filter for all my leads, my melodies, as well as my hi-hats and snares. With the high-pass filter, I always cut everything off at about 200 hertz with about 20% resonance, and I always kick the amount up about 10%. And I keep the settings on that pretty similar, with the ratio at about 3.1, the attack at about 3.5, and the release at about 3.5, give or take depending on what I'm working with. I'm also going to pitch that sample up about 6 semitones. And I'm going to go ahead and use my Fab Filter EQ and cut off a bunch of that low end and a gang of that high end. Should come out a little something like this. Onto the sub, first thing I do is put that low pass filter on there at about 800 hertz, and again put the amount at about 10% and the resonance at about 20%. Then we're going to bring up that Fab Filter EQ again, and this time we're going to use another low cut at about 30 hertz, cut off that high end at about 1700. Then we're going to use a low shelf and kick up some of that low end just so we can get a little more tone out of that bass. Things I've done to the sub, since I've realized that 90 to 95% of the time people are listening to this on a mobile device with not good speakers, so all the work that we do on that sub is just going to be lost. So I started adding just a little bit of distortion just to try to bring that bass out on most mobile devices. So I switched the mode again to Mulholland, kick up the drive and the color just a little bit. Then another new thing I just started doing was adding some saturation to the sub. And I'll switch the main from classic to tape and put the input down to about 1.5. And as you can hear, that gives the bass so much more warmth and tone. Alright, moving on to the drums, I came up with this little pattern. Alright, so once I know I have a nice solid foundation for my drums, only then will I start building on it. So we're going to go ahead and add a little percussion and layer a couple more snares. After that, I'm going to go back and take a second look at that triplet hi-hat. Now you can play that same hi-hat straight, like just hitting that same note 3 times, like so. Or you can use that piano roll and kind of just roll down on those 3 notes. I always find that it sounds a lot cooler and a lot more realistic, like this. And small things like that will really add a lot more character and warmth to your drums. Alright, so the last thing we need is a little bit of sprinkles on top. Alright, so I found this little stabby sound. I'm going to add a little bit of that stock metaverb that comes with Maschine. I'm also going to add a beat delay, but I'm going to bring down the feedback and the color. Then I brought up the piano roll and came up with this little pattern. Guys, that's gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna play a quick snippet of the beat before we get out of here, but before I do, don't forget to like this video and subscribe and drop a comment down below of what you guys want to see me do next and all that good stuff. Had a lot of fun making this beat, really enjoyed the way it came out. I hope you guys like it too. That's about all I got. Alright guys, till next time.